The origins of Little Red Riding Hood go back to the 10th century in France, where peasants told the story that was then passed along to the Italians, who were obviously enchanted by it. A similar title were created, La Feinte Nona, the False Grandmother, or the Story of Grandmother. French word, bzou, another name for a werewolf. Unlike the traditional Perrault or Grimm Brothers version, the wolf in this story is half man and half wolf.
The Story of a Grandmother. There was once a woman who had some bread and said to her daughter, "You're going to carry a hot loaf and a bottle of milk to your grandmother." The little girl departed at the crossroads. She met the bazoo and said to her, "Where are you going?" "I'm taking a hot loaf and a bottle of milk to my grandmother." What road are you taking?" said the bazoo. "The Needles Road or the Pins Road?" "The Needles Road," said the little girl. "Well, I shall take the Pins Road." The little girl enjoyed herself picking up needles. Meanwhile, the bazoo arrived at her grandmother's, killed her, and put some of her flesh in the pantry and a bottle of her blood on the shelf. The little girl arrived and knocked at the door. "Push the door," said the bazoo. "It's closed with a wet straw." "Hello, grandmother. I'm bringing you a hot loaf and a bottle of milk." "Put them in the pantry. You eat the meat that's in it and drink a bottle of wine on the shelf." As she ate, there was a little cat and said, "A slut is she who eats the flesh and drinks the blood of her grandmother." After she eats, the bazoo laying on his grandmother's bed called her. "Undress, my child," said the bazoo, "and come and sleep beside me." "Where should I put my apron?" "Throw it in the fire, my child. You don't need it anymore." "Where should I put my bodice?" "Throw it in the fire, my child. You don't need it anymore." "Where should I put my dress?" "Throw it in the fire, my child. You don't need it anymore." "Where should I put my skirt?" "Throw it in the fire, my child. You don't need it anymore." "Where should I put my hose?" "Throw it in the fire, my child. You don't need it anymore." "Oh, grandmother, how hairy you are!" "It's to keep me warmer, my child." "Oh, grandmother, those long nails you have!" "It's to scratch me better, my child." "Oh, grandmother, those big shoulders that you have!" "All the better to carry kindling from the woods, my child." "Oh, grandmothers, those big ears that you have!" "All the better is to hear with you, my child." "Oh, grandmother, what a big mouth you have!" "All the better to eat you, my child." "Oh, grandmother, I need to go outside to relieve myself." "Do it in the bed, my child." "No, grandmother, I want to go outside." "All right, but don't stay long." The bazoo tied a woolen thread to her foot and let her go out. And when the girl was outside, she tied the end of the string to a big plum tree in the yard. The bazoo got impatient and said, "Are you making cables?" When he became aware that no one answered him, he jumped out of the bed and saw that the little girl had escaped. He followed her, but she arrived at her house just at the moment she was safely inside.
Question: Not in the story. What are the disturbing issues that were mentioned?